Livewire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Livewire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Livewire Sports Media. I am your boy, Livewire Sports Media himself. All right, before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm on my way to 7,000, and hey, it means greatly. I do appreciate y'all checking out all my videos from Indiana Fever, Washington Commanders, Miami Hurricanes, Atlanta Braves, so forth and so on. Now, let's jump into this. Caitlin Clark. There's been a lot of noise around Caitlin Clark about joining Unrivaled. Yeah, the league that is funded by Nafisa Carter and Brianna Stewart. Caitlin gave a very well answer. A couple of days ago. One thing I want to say, I do not like misinformation. Me as a content creator, I want to be as accurate as I can, bring great information to y'all because, doing research is really very important. And I don't like interpreting what a person says. It is saying, oh, this person said, oh, this person is joining Unrivaled. Now, Caitlin Clark came out and she was asked in the media during practice, media shoot around, if she was going to join Unrivaled. And she gave her answer. Now, some people took it as no. Some people say, yeah. I took it as she's focused. Remember when she was asked about the 3-on-3 in the All-Star break? You know what I'm saying? She did not give an answer if she was going to be or not. She kept saying she was focused on the team, what the team is trying to do, and she was worried about everything like that. Same thing with the Olympics. She was saying she was focused on the team. She kept on going. Everybody kept pushing these narratives and kept saying, oh, she need to be in the Olympics. She should be at the Olympics. Okay, it was what it is. And even when the Olympics going on, people were still talking about, hey, she should have been there. She should have been there. The WNBA, they dropped the ball. The Olympics dropped the ball. No media rights. So forth and so on. We get it. But when you come out and put out a video and say, and I'm not calling a content creator out because they already know what it is. And you sit there and say, oh, your thumbnail says that she's joining Unrivaled. When clearly she didn't say she's joining Unrivaled. If you play the clip from her and listen to her, she's focused on the second half of the season. Whatever happens, I do not suspect that Caitlin Clark has not been asked about Unrivaled. You remember the second to the last game of the first half when they played the Minnesota Lynx and they beat them, and she had a conversation with Nafisa Carter. Now, wherever the conversation is, we can interpret it any way we want to. They had a conversation. They embraced. I'm sure she got asked about it at the All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure she got asked about it again. But Caitlin is not moved by what people want from her. She's moved by what is required from her, herself, and her team. If she get invited, she's invited. If she decides to accept it, then that's her. Maybe she did got invited and she said, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because she wants to continue to get better. The first thing y'all have to understand, this girl just came out of college straight into the WNBA. And just to continue to play basketball year round because selfish ass fans want to see her just to continue to play basketball without no proper rest, now no timing. You know what I'm saying? Even we was screaming about her being in the Olympics. The break that she got, a month break, was good. She didn't play in the 3-point shootout. She didn't play in the skills challenge. She just focused on the All-Star game because she wanted to take a break. She is allowed to take a damn break, people. She's allowed to take a break. We, our fans, so selfishly want our favorite player to continue to play nonstop, not thinking about them. You know, this person needs to tire. They need to get their mental straight or whatever the case might be. But sitting here and say that, oh, she's going to play in Unrivaled, it's not. That's just indicative of her, you know, taking words out of her mind or context out of her mind to say, yeah, she's going to play because she said, well, hey, I'm focused on this first. But again, I'm going to let y'all listen to it.
Be interested in the Unrivaled League in the offseason?
You know, honestly, I'm just focused on this right now, one thing at a time. Can't always just be moving on to the next. My focus is right here.
Exactly. One thing at a time. You just can't be moving on to the next. Her goal, get her team ready for the second half, get her team into the playoffs, get her team in the postseason. Then whatever happens after that, after the season over, whatever, if she decides that, hey, I'm going to take a few months off, if they invite her and she plays, then that's fine. But if she decides, like, hey, I don't want to play in there, then that's fine again. But at the same time, that's her decision. That's her decision. I'm not going to sit here and say what selfishly and say what she needs to play on Unrivaled. No, she doesn't. She doesn't need them. Hell, if Caitlin wanted to go play overseas this summer for a league and be back before training camp to get her skills up so she could probably play overseas and get used to that physicality over there, I'm all for it. At least it'll prepare her for the Olympics in 2028. But if she decides to say, hey, I'm going to do workout, I'm going to take a break, you know, get my body right, you know, be ready for my second year in the league, then that's fine and good too. She's able to do that. But don't just go out there and put misinformation out there and say, oh, she's going to be a part on Unrivaled when she did not even clearly say that. You take it and say, well, she's joining the league. No, she's not. She's not. I'm good and she doesn't. And she does, that's fine. But to me, what benefit for her to join Unrivaled? What, just to help them out with ratings and help put more money in their pocket? Hell, if she's going to be a part of Unrivaled, then she should get a bigger cut because she's the bigger draw. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Well, I think the league starts in what, January? So you start in January, then you playing all the way to what? The season started in May. You playing what, 3-4 months? No, and then you get probably another break and you got to prepare for preseason and all of that stuff. I mean, that's just like being back in college again. Not being tired all over again. Not really getting a break. You know, but like I said, she decides after the season and play into the Winter League and overseas, then she could do that. I mean, that's her. But I'm not going to sit here and continue to put out misinformation just because I want views or clicks. I'm not going to do that. Rather, if I get 1 view, 2 views, 3 views, I don't even give a shit. As long as I can put out the right content, that's all that matters to me. Now, moving on. Locked on women's basketball had came out. They was talking about what the Fever need to do in the second half or what they want to look forward to. And Missy Hedrick and Tony East of Locked On Women's Basketball, they was talking about it. And I do agree. They need, like I said in my last video with the Chrissy Size thing, that the Fever need to hit the ground running. They need to hit the ground running. They got 3 tough games, you know, stretched out. They got the Fever, they got the Mercury, they got the Storm, and then they got the Lynx. It's going to be telling early on. It's going to be telling early on, especially with, you know, the Mercury. I think to me, that Mercury team could be beat. They beat them twice already. I think they could beat them again. It's going to be hard to beat them again. and it's going to depend on the legs of Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, which they didn't really play that much in the Olympics anyway, so it really, really don't matter. Diana Taurasi might not play. Again, Brittany Griner might not even play. She might get her injured again and just be on the sideline. But I think the Fever is going to be the most rested team. I think they, like I said, Tammy Finn-Billy be back probably. I'll say she'll be back probably 1 or 2 games. Then you implement her in slowly. Then you have all your horses. You already got Dantes out there that's going to give you a bigger body, 3-point shooting, moving, pick and pop. So with Aaliyah Boston, so that's going to be good. And you got her to sub her in for Aaliyah Boston, so that's going to be great too. But I'm gonna let y'all listen to what they got to say, and then I'm gonna chime back in.
So we've talked about scoring, we've talked about that accountability and defense. What are you looking for when this team comes back out of the gate, when they get back into that game mode?
I want to see if they can get to that high right away, because they come out pretty tough schedule-wise from this break. If Phoenix first, which they, like when I mentioned that they have their whole team, the aces are, everybody's going to be like, oh, they have so many Olympics. But like Phoenix has 2, right? Like,
yeah.
Just on Team USA, I don't know about the rest off the top of my head, but like, and it's 2 very prominent players. So their break is different than the Fever's break in terms of how they can practice, what they can do, stuff like that, right? So can they beat Phoenix for the 3rd time? And then they play Seattle, who's given them trouble. Like teams with a really good post and size have given them trouble. And then they play Minnesota, who's very good. And, like, can you win any of those? Can you show like, hey, you just beat these good teams right before the break? Can you come right back out and hit that level again? Because like I said, and like we talked about, when you're inconsistent like that, you just never know what a gap's going to do. And their schedule was so hard to start the season. I can give them grace there. Context matters a lot for these young teams. So they play Atlanta that 4th game, and Atlanta's going to be their team they're circling the most just because of the standings. So giving themselves cushion and looking good right away is extremely important, because it's 3 tough teams, and then Atlanta, and then they get a break with, oh, wait, no, they don't. They play the Connecticut Sun. So they don't have like time to come out and be like, oh, we had a time off, shoot, like we're not humming right away. No, you can't. You can't do that. You'll lose 4 out of 5, and then all of a sudden the 8 seed is scary and precarious again. So they've got to come out and look really good right away, whether that's any of the things we've talked about, that offensive group all humming. That their very best stretch this season, I wrote about that, was when Melissa Smith, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark all are playing well at the same time. And that's kind of hard for them all to add to each other, at least right now. I don't know if it will be forever. But when that happens, they look really good. Or can they actually guard a little bit like they did against Minnesota or New York? Or are they going to be clunky at first? Because that might this first 5 games coming out of this stretch, really their stretch from now until the end of August, because they play the Sky, who are also right with them in the standings, to end the month. How do they hold up in those games? 3-3 or better, I think they'll go, sweet, we're going to be playing in the postseason, big time. That's awesome. If they wobble a little bit, they might have to go, oh man, we gotta look at the scoreboard every night and see how the Dream in the Sky did. Dang it. Like it just gets distracting really fast. So it's intangible, but coming out focused and looking good right away is going to matter a lot.
Well, and there's something to be said.
And that's a great, excellent point right there, because I still think that the Fever, if they could beat, say for instance, what they could do, they hope that, say the Sky beats Phoenix, and then the Fever turn around to beat Phoenix. That will give the Fever a chance to move up to 6, because you think about it, that will give the Mercury 2 losses coming out the gate. They'd be 13 and 14. The Fever will be 12 and 15 if they was to beat the Mercury on Friday. Then I think they'd be a half a game back of the 6th spot. Now, if the Fever turn around and somehow beat the Storm or end up beating Minnesota, then that'll keep them right up in there. But I do believe going into the next week or 2, the Fever has a chance to make that 6th seed. I really believe they could get that 6th seed. I think the Mercury is going to take a step back. Now, if the Mercury beat Chicago because you got to think about it. Only a game and a half separates Indiana and Chicago right now. So me personally, I want the Mercury to beat Chicago on Thursday. You know why? Because then Indiana could put a 2-game stretch on them. Because you got the Fever got the Mercury, then they turn around and get the Mercury again. Remember now, they get the Mercury again and going into next week. You know, they play Thursday, Saturday, and matter of fact, they got 3 games. They play Thursday, Saturday, and they play a back-to-back. You know, they got the Sparks. What's the Sparks going to be pretty tough. I think the Sparks has been playing really good. I think the Sparks could upset the Sky. So and then you got to think, the Sky, after the second Mercury game, they got the Sun, the Aces. That's 2 back-to-back games right there. That could be a loss. So they stretch of games is a little bit tougher than the Fever. You know what I'm saying? So the Fever has to hit the ground running. They got to take the games. I mean, they got to play competitive ball. If they somehow go 3-0 in the next 3 games, I think they'll put themselves in a really good position. Because that'll put them They're 11. That'll put them at 14 wins right then and there. There'll be a 1-game shot for 500. But if they go 2-3, that's no bad. Now if they go 1-2, then they're gonna have their work cut out for them. So, and they can't get discouraged. But do believe they'll come out. Now, for my last little clip, they just put out the Fever website been putting out a lot of celebration of Caitlin Clark and their team players. So they, I guess fans been crying, on their head about celebrating their players on their team website, like how other players. So hopefully it continues. Now, going into the second half of the season, Caitlin Clark do have 13 assists away from being the all-time rookie leader in assists. That would be breaking to Tisha Penichero's 225. And right now, Clayton has 211, 205, something like that. Yeah, 205, I think. And then she's 30 points away from cracking the top 20 for rookies in scoring. So, with that being said, there's a clip of her showing all her assists for the first half of the season. Take a look, enjoy, and and we'll get back at it. All right, and that's it. We can expect more of these passes from Caitlin Clark started on Friday against the Mercury. Until then, it's your boy, Livewire Sports Media. You know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing. Livewire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Livewire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.